prepared to call it. He's at 972-988-1040. That's 972-988-1040. Rob Stern. Fridays on 1040 AM and 106.9 FM. KGGR.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We have with us here Rob Stern. How are you doing? We got a lot going on this week.
Yeah, we've had a whole bunch going on this week. I'm doing really well, and I hope you're doing good today as well, Autumn. It's been a crazy time. You know, the stock market had a little bit of a fit, I guess is the best way to say it. And we started to see some reductions in interest rates. Not significant, but we started to see rates go down a little bit lower. Then the markets exploded back upwards. So yeah.
Was it like a huge, big jumps?
Yeah, it's several hundred points, big jumps. I think that you know, the craziness to everything is just the uncertainty in the market. I mean, when we had Joe Biden in office and he was running against President Trump, or Donald Trump rather, things seem to be somewhat predictable to an extent. Now there's been a changing of the guard, and that's led to some uncertainty. You know, in addition, we're still having a lot of the tensions in the world market. You know, the problems with Russia. Of course, we've got Israel now, and the issues over there in the Middle East that have erupted again. However, with all that being said, the market is a incredibly stable market, and
Okay.
I'm saying that because of what I've been seeing go on. You know, home prices have moved higher and continue to solidify. We still have an unbalanced home market, meaning we don't have enough inventory to satisfy all of the customers out there. And
Okay.
interestingly enough, demand has increased here over the past 4 weeks. We're seeing more people get out into the marketplace, more people that are wanting to become homeowners, whether it's a first-time homeowner or it's a matter of selling your current home and trading into another home. There's just a lot more activity. So I think there's a lot going on right now, and you know, I can't put my finger on it as to exactly why, but I would say that this is, in my mind, the beginning of a bull market, and that we're getting ready to see things explode once again in the real estate market.
And you mentioned the presidency here just a second ago. That's something that a lot of people ask. Does the way that we vote carry weight in the housing market? You know, I've had that question come across my desk a lot.
Well, that's a great question. I think that's a very intelligent question, and shows some foresight. Yes, the way you vote does have some impact, but not the way that you would think. The law provides that quite literally the president and the White House should have no sway or no impact over monetary policy, meaning the White House can't just pick up the phone and go, "Hey, reduce the interest rates half a point." That cannot happen.
Would be
However,
nice.
the decisions that the White House makes does impact monetary policy indirectly, actually indirectly, directly in many cases, because of some of the decisions that the White House makes and the way that they choose to run our country. Again, this is our country, not their country. They are servants in theory. It's their responsibility to make decisions that are in the best interests of everybody, regardless of race, color, creed, religion, sex, national origin. They represent all of us in theory, perhaps in a positive way, perhaps in a negative way. That's open for interpretation. I think, though, that so to answer the question directly, yeah, the White House does not make interest rates higher or lower, but what they do can impact the decisions that the Federal Reserve makes, and the way that the market moves in general.
Okay, so I guess that
Yeah,
takes
I
some
know
research.
that's a non-answer. I realize that.
No, 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 that is a good answer because I've always wanted to know for myself as well, what part does it affect? So yes, that's the answer.
I think and something that we might want to actually spend a little bit more time on this week, and that is something that's come to my attention here again recently, and that is the apprehension that people have as home buyers,
Mm.
whether it doesn't matter whether they're a veteran or they're
Oh, yeah.
currently enlisted or whether they've owned a home before. It doesn't matter if they're 80 years old or if they're 30 years old. There's still a lot of apprehension in home buying, and I think I've really tried to boil it down to one specific issue that's causing that apprehension. I can't do it. I think that people are people are traditionally uncomfortable about their credit. So that has some impact on the apprehension. And of course, my goal is to let everybody know that buying a home is not just about credit. There's a lot of factors that go into purchasing a home. I think people are apprehensive about the difficulty of buying a mortgage. That's something that's kind of new. I speak to people and they go, "Well, how hard is it going to be for me to get a mortgage, and how long is it going to take?" Well, the average mortgage takes 3 weeks to close from beginning to end once you find a house.
That's
It's
not
not,
bad at all.
no, it's not a complicated process, but it is invasive. And when I say invasive, I'm going to need to see paycheck stubs and W-2s. I'm going to ask you perhaps for tax returns. I'm going to want to see bank account statements. And then we're going to marry all that up to your credit.
Yeah.
But apparently there's a lot of indecisiveness
Yeah.
going on just because of apprehension. People are afraid of the word no, and we don't talk about that enough on the air. Um, you
Well,
know,
not
I'm
just no, but all of the work, going through all of the work, and
to
then
sit
afraid of
to hear
going
no.
no. Yeah.
Exactly. And I have done this now for 33 or almost 34 years. Um, it's my um, it's my intention and my goal to never say no to anybody. I will work with an individual to help them perhaps better their situation for an approval, but there's really no reason to ever say no. And it just boils my blood when I hear these people that say, I made a loan application somewhere, but they never called me back. And that's wrong. They never called you back, maybe because they pulled your credit or because you told them about your income or about your specific situation. But that's not who I am. That's not who the Lenders Residential Mortgage Team represents. That's not what Mortgage Solutions is all about.
Yeah.
Um,
It's about
you know,
solutions. So you're actually taking
yes,
the time to help.
we solve problems. We don't create the problem. And I think that's really important for our listeners, for our viewers to understand. We work very closely with a wide selection, a wide grouping of different realtors. I work with builders all over the state of Texas. We do a lot of what would be called cleanup, perhaps, or
Okay.
fallout lending, meaning a home builder declines somebody and they come to me to approve the loan.
Gotcha.
Somebody wants to buy a house and their loan with somebody else falls apart in the middle. I've got an individual I'm working with right now. I'm the third lender to work this loan. I'm going to get it closed too.
Wow.
But I'm the third lender to get to work this loan. That's who we are. That's who we represent. No minimum credit score on VA mortgage loans. Minimum 500 credit score for FHA mortgage loans and borrowers. I am a direct underwriter for the Veterans Administration as well as for FHA. Don't let others other people's no stand in your way. If you want to become
That's
a
good.
homeowner, I'm the right guy to come to. I
That's good.
will get you there one way or another. We'll turn you into a homeowner. But you have to begin the process. And the way to do that is by calling me. My telephone number is 972-739-2350. That's 972-739-2350. You can also catch me on the internet. Go to Lenders Texas, LendersTexas.com. But start the process, whether you're a first-time home buyer, whether you are 75 years old and you are buying your third home, you're downsizing, whether your goal is to just take equity out of your house and eliminate high credit card bills. We're seeing more and more of that happen.
Yeah.
Give me a call. You got to begin the process. You will never complete something you do not start.
Absolutely. Or you can call right now if you have a question or comment, statement, a testimony. Give us a call right now on the air at 214-202-5733. That's 214-202-5733. Rob, I like that you said don't let someone else's no deter you, because we get no sometimes from these companies that we just respect, and so to have a no is it's a shut door in the face.
Well,
And so sometimes it's hard to pick up the pieces and move on after that. I've also heard a story of someone who was told no by a realtor. They kind of gave them the rundown of their case, and the realtor said, it's probably not going to work for you.
well, I think, and this is just me personally, I think the word no is probably one of the most disrespectful words in the English language.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just bothers me to no end when someone gets a hard no. I mean, I've been in situations before where I've been told no. It's uncomfortable.
It is.
And I think we try very hard um, to explain everything in a way to the consumer that they can understand and acknowledge exactly what's happening and how to correct a negative situation. And life's been challenging for the past 5 years. I mean, let's look. We made it through. We made it through a pandemic. Actually, it's been more than 5 years, I guess. Um,
Since
because
2020.
we've had President Biden in office for the past 4 years, so
That's true.
it's been longer than that, perhaps maybe
That's
6 years.
true.
But the point is, I mean, this was a national crisis. This pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
it was a crisis, and it wasn't a crisis for just one person. It was every single person out there was impacted by COVID,
Absolutely.
and
Everybody.
and it didn't happen just once. It happened several times.
Yeah.
We had the first COVID, then we had the second COVID, then we had the third COVID.
Well, now we're on like number 10. So yeah.
And it's I mean, so people have had hardships, and we do our best to understand and work with everybody. I don't think that there is, in my mind, enough compassion in this industry or in industry in general. And I don't think there's enough understanding. Everybody deserves respect. Everybody deserves the right to know what's going on with their situation and how to better their position.
Yeah.
And that's my personal goal, is to educate and inform everybody that I have an opportunity to communicate with.
And that is what we're doing right now. And we do this
Yes.
every Friday. So if this is your first time tuning in, we're here. We're here every Friday. Rob is here for you. He's here for you 7 days a week. I'm just here for you for this on this Friday. But the number to call right now, if you want to call in with a question, is 214-202-5733, 214-202-5733. Rob Stern has been on with us for a very long time. He has helped so many of us. Rob, what are some of the great testimonies that you've had?
I'll tell you something that's happened just this past week, and
Okay.
And I think this is a testimonial I would give as far as my commitment to the success of an individual. So I had a young lady reach out to me this week, or last week, I should say, 75 years young, a veteran, who wants to purchase a home. But she had been misled by countless other people. Went to a home builder. The home builder didn't tell her the truth about her situation. She reached out to me. We spoke over the telephone in detail. We visited many, many times over the past few weeks. I ended up going out to visit her I drove from my offices in North Dallas out to see her in Euless, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact, to pick up information and visit with her in more detail. I did that 2 times over this past week, and we are going to turn her into a homeowner. I think that is a testimonial as to my sincerity in wanting to please everybody.
That's good.
It's not just about credit. It's about being a servant. It's about being responsible to others the way that you would want them to be responsible to you. And I think that just speaks volumes about the Lenders Residential Mortgage team and about Mortgage Solutions, about me personally, certainly, but who we are. That's why we do this show every week. It's our responsibility to educate and inform. It's our responsibility, in my mind, to give back to the community that has given so much to me. We are blessed beyond compare, and I just feel very strongly that this is an incredible relationship here we have, and I appreciate the opportunity to help anybody and everybody.
I know that I have learned a lot from you over the years. And sometimes you've talked to Willie Mae and you've talked to Tanya and Royce, and everybody says that they can take away something every time. There's just so much information that has to be given. There's so much to be learned that it takes someone like you who has been in the industry for a long time.
You know, and this is I think pretty interesting, but the shopping for a home, as you know, with the realtor or whatever. I mean, that's the emotional part that everybody enjoys.
Yeah.
It's the mortgage that people get stressed out about.
Right.
There's a lot of moving parts to a mortgage. Processing, underwriting, loan application, supporting documentation to prove everything, assets. There's just a lot of moving parts. And like I said earlier, it can be very invasive. People shouldn't be afraid of that. It's part and parcel of the process. It's a responsibility of the loan officer that you choose to work with, the company that you choose to work with, to minimize your stress during that process, to make things easier, and explain the process as you go. Unfortunately, that's not always the case with every person. I've again been in the industry for 34 years. You'll find me listed with the Better Business Bureau with an A++ rating, Lenders Residential Mortgage. We got this down. We know what we're doing. If you want to become a homeowner, this is the right time to call. I'm the right person to call. My telephone number again is 972-739-2350. That's 972-739-2350. You can call us on the air as well, and we love on the air phone calls. That number is?
That's right, 214-202-5733. That's 214-202-5733. And we love the testimonies too, Rob.
Well, I think that's what that does so much in encouraging other people to step forward. Something else I think maybe we should cover, and that is equity loans. Interest rates, as I mentioned earlier, have softened up a tad bit. There are people out there that are paying 22%, 23, 24% interest on these credit cards. When you can use the equity in your home and you would be perhaps at a 7 or 8% interest rate. In addition to cutting that interest perhaps in thirds, you would also turn that interest into totally tax deductible interest. And I want to explain what I mean by that. When you pay interest on a credit card, you're paying interest. You don't get any taxable benefit for that.
Okay.
When you pay that debt off through your mortgage, you are using tax deductible mortgage interest because we write off all of our mortgage interest at the end of the year on our income taxes.
Okay.
So that is a very real benefit to a home equity loan. A home equity loan means you're using the equity of your home, the equity that you've built up over however many years you've owned the home. You're using that equity in whatever way you choose to. I spoke to somebody this week who wants to remodel their house, and they want to use their home's equity for the purpose of remodeling the home.
Is that no questions asked? We can use the money for whatever we need to use it for.
Whatever you choose to. It's your money. No, I mean, nobody's going to tell you what to do with your money. A lot of people right now that I'm speaking with, Autumn, are using the equity to eliminate credit card debt. People that have built up $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 in credit card debt. And hey, like we just talked about, past 5 years, 6 years, whatever it is, we've been through a lot. I mean, we've been through a lot.
A lot has happened. It's time to recoup.
So, credit card debt is unfortunately part of the equation, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of that credit card debt and do it with tax deductible money. Don't continue to pay interest on these credit cards if you can avoid it.
Mhm.
I think again, the couple that I'm working with right now to do this equity loan, we're saving him $1,300 a month in payments on these credit cards.
Wow, that's a lot.
$1,300, and he's making those payments. I mean, he can afford it, but it just struck him all of a sudden that
that's another mortgage.
Yeah, that's right. It just struck him all of a sudden that it doesn't make sense to pay that money unnecessarily. So I think, as we move forward, as we progress, that's one of the main reasons why we enter into home ownership to begin with.
Yeah.
It doesn't really do us much good to buy a home, let it accrue equity, and die with a home that's paid off and not receive any of the benefit of the equity that we've built up over time.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand passing generational wealth, and I get all that. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but what I'm saying is that we've got people who purchased a home 20 years ago and they've paid that home off. They may have $400,000, $500,000 of equity sitting in a home right now. And then on the other end of the equation, they have credit card debt.
Yeah.
Get rid of that credit card debt. Use your home's equity to pay off that debt. There's no way that is not a sound move. There's no way that's not a wise decision. And truthfully, whether you have $400,000 left in equity or $300,000 or $200,000 left in equity, it doesn't do you any good to carry all that equity with you to the grave.
Can do nothing with it. It can't go.
And I'm not being morbid about this, but we've all heard the expression that there's no reason to be the richest man in the graveyard.
Yeah.
And that's true. It doesn't do you any good once you're not here to take advantage of the opportunity that you've accumulated. You've become a homeowner. You've invested wisely. Use that home's equity now to alleviate some of the debt in your life and make things more palatable for you.
The key to it, the thing that I like is, I mean, it's yours. It's yours to decide that. Nobody can tell you how to do it. Nobody can tell you, go ahead and get the equity loan right now, get it tomorrow, wait next year. You get to make that decision for you and for your family.
Yes, ma'am. We're we are tools to the extent that that it's our responsibility to fulfill the borrower's wishes. And even more importantly, just because you call me today and you apply for a loan today doesn't mean you have to take that loan.
Hmm.
It just means that you're approved for that mortgage loan.
So how long do they have to take it?
Well, a mortgage loan approval typically lasts for 120 days from the issuance of that credit report. And if you can't make a decision in that 120 days, 4 months, if you can't make a decision in that 4-month period, all we have to do is re-pull the credit and refresh the approval, and it'll go for another 120 days. So,
Okay.
everybody should, if nothing else, tune up their credit. Give me a call and let's see what's going on with your credit. Whether you make a decision to do something today or tomorrow.
So you can help us with tuning up what needs to be tuned on the credit.
Sure. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My telephone number, once again, is going to be 972-739-2350. That's 972-739-2350. You can also find me on the internet. Just go to lenderstexas.com. That's LENDERSTEXAS.com.
Or we do have a few more minutes if you want to call right now at 214-202-5733. That's 214-202-5733. Y'all have been quiet today. And so I don't know, maybe they're waiting till next week, Rob.
Well, I think maybe it's just the nice weather. People are finally getting out and
Yeah.
maybe enjoying lunch outside because it's somewhat pleasant today after all those days of just ridiculous heat.
Yeah, and they're probably just going to call you afterwards. That's
fine.
normally what
I deal so often with listeners, whether they are first time listeners through KGGR or these are listeners who've transitioned with us from KHVN. I will take a call anytime. If my phone's on, I'll take the call. Day or night, 7 days a week, quite literally. But you got to start the process. Give a call. We love on-air calls because the on-air calls typically encourage other people to take that step forward that they may be apprehensive about or not quite ready to commit.
Yeah, but if you don't want to, it's okay. Go ahead and call Rob, and I think we have about a minute left. Rob, go ahead and give your information again.
Absolutely. And thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today. I really appreciate it. I always love speaking with you, Autumn. And I love the glasses, by the way.
I had to take them off for a second because they're a little.
Great. Here,
I'm having some issues.
I'll put mine on too. Okay. Okay. So now we're both glasses. Yeah. Yes. My name again is Rob Stern, STERN, and I represent the Lenders Residential Mortgage Team here at Mortgage Solutions. My contact information is going to be 972-739-2350. That's 972-739-2350. And you can also reach me on the internet anytime. Just go to Lenders Texas, spelled out LENDERSTEXAS.com. But please give me an opportunity to help you with your mortgage needs, with your financial questions. That's who I am and what I do, and I just appreciate the opportunity.
All right, there you have it. We're going to release them right now so that you can go ahead and call them. And Rob, we will do this next week, same time, same place.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. You take care, Autumn.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day. Bye, honey.
Bye-bye.